Detroit.
Why I love you.
Well, here we are. So
if they lose, it's gonna be so good.
Just share what you guys are talking about because it's funny and I agree with you on it.
Yeah,
Brian,
Go
you
ahead,
can say
Jake.
it, buddy.
Okay, I was
you
just
want
me
me
and
to?
Jake both run the same mindset that the only thing that can make today better is if the Lions turn around and lose, because they'll call themselves King of the North, but if we make it further, I think we're still the Kings.
Yeah,
Well, it would be funny. Like they won the division for the first time in 30 years, and the Packers go farther than them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Are you happy you have that division banner? Glad you hung that banner.
Yeah, they hung that banner, so they probably
farther in the
done for the year.
playoffs.
You might as well
It'll
take
honestly
that thing down.
be some poetic justice for all the times that they've given us shit for winning the division and losing in the playoffs. If they go one and done, oh my goodness. Oh, the noise is going to be so bad for them, dude. It's going to be so
And then
toxic.
lose to Stafford on top of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's gonna sting.
that would be the double whammy, dude. Honestly, it would. But I think we should just get right into it, man. Let's give some thoughts for the game.
Yep.
We always start with Bryant, so I'm going to start with Simon this time. Simon, what are your thoughts, man? What's like the top 3 things that you take away from this game most impressive in your eyes?
Matt LaFleur called an absolute masterclass of a game. There was just some of the play designs and the way some of the players leaked and got open was just insane. The score was definitely not indicative of how this game was. The Cowboys just got their ass whooped straight up. Like that two possessions. No, the real score to this game was like 48-16.
I'll say 48-24. I'll give them one.
No, I'll give
my
them
thing
one.
with the score is that the only thing I can really say is that the Packers just pulled the starters one series to win.
And like maybe not fire Joe Barry. I don't know, man. Like,
okay. I'm gonna say this because right now I think they still mutually part ways. But
I'm on the same thing.
Big old butt. If the
like
Packers do this to San Francisco, we need to at least have the conversation.
Yeah,
the
that's kind of
Packers
where
go
I was going to
past
head.
San Francisco, the conversation needs to be had. If they go past the NFC Championship game to the Super Bowl, then I think you have to take a really hard look at it.
If the defense isn't detrimental to
it has to be,
if they're not winning 40,
it doesn't have to be we made it there in spite of the defense. It has to be because kind of like the defense did. Well, what did we all talk about on Friday, right? I said key to the game, right? Long drives. What they do is, I think one of you guys said take the ball and score. What did we do? We took the ball, 8-minute drive to open the game. We talked about Dallas being at 22 points in the first half. I think that threw them way far off their game, and they just had no chance to recover. Then you start throwing in a pick six. I said savage, but I didn't think of that. But good call, great call by Jake. He drilled both of his bold predictions, a pick six and a 40 burger. I mean, holy Moses. I get people hang on to the last 6-7 minutes of the game. I don't like the fact that the starters had to come back in. That's not great. But I think Tyler kind of hit the nail on the head. Yeah, we probably took our foot off the throttle just a little early.
But none of them have experienced this before. Let me throw that out there. There's no precedent for what happened today.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, good on Dallas, right? They're not supposed to, like, let up. It could have been easier for them just to let up, but they didn't. We probably let up just a little too early. A couple, like, just head scratches there. We probably don't need to throw that ball at the end. Probably just run it again.
Yeah.
Just a couple things, but other than that, wow, what a performance. It's typical Packer way, though, right? When you feel comfortable, they're like, okay, all of a sudden they're back in the game, right? But that first half was just absolutely dominant. And then to have them score, get that field goal at that point, it was, 10 points to nothing. They're starting to come back to just go, what was it, like 5 plays or down the field, score a touchdown. Romeo Doubs absolutely ate in the middle of the field. Jordan Love, amazing. Luke Musgrave was, I think Simon said the closest person to him was a fan in the stands, like so open. People were like, "Oh, if would have let him or whatever."
No.
Look at the pressure in his face.
Two things on the Musgrave play. First of all, 16.6 yards was the closest defender. 16.6 yards. Second of all, yes, Love could have led the ball or whatever, and the ball looked underthrown. Do you think anybody, including Jordan Love, expected Luke Musgrave to be open by almost 17 fucking yards?
And then Micah was right in his face, but it's at that point, just laid up. He kind of did it on who was the other one he threw one to? Dobbs like that too, when he had another pressure kind of in his face. Just laid up there and let him catch it because there ain't anyone close to him.
Yeah.
There's no reason to, try to overthrow it and lead him in stride to either overthrow him. If he can just stand there and catch it, that's perfect. Yep. You know what I mean? When you're that open. Obviously, if he has a defender on him, you want to lead him and stuff. But, I mean, if it wasn't for that one play to touch Kraft, you're talking about what they say on the broadcast when they thought he was done. He would have been the first person ever to have a perfect pass rating in their first playoff game.
Yep.
I mean, wow.
It's close.
I mean, okay, so there's still a handful of things with this. I'm going to go to some comments first, and then we'll get back to Jordan Love. But Adam asked, when can we do the same to the 49ers?
God, I hope next week.
Dude, I mean, if you think about it, let's just play the what-if game. 2 years ago, or this was 3 years ago now, Packers lost a playoff game 10-7. If they can hold San Francisco to 10, like that would be wild. And I get that there's some different weapons there now, but I'm just saying, let's just ask the question, just the what if question.
This is our kryptonite, right? Like we're Dallas's kryptonite. Now we're going back into Candlestick or whatever they call it now, Levi or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
And that they've been our kryptonite, even at home on that 10-7 game you're talking about. Like I can't remember. I think we beat them. Did we beat them 1 year in the playoffs? I can't remember.
We've lost 4 straight in the playoffs.
No, the last time we beat them was in a regular season game.
Yeah,
where Rodgers passed to Adam on Adams.
We've lost the last 4 playoffs.
Exactly. So kind of like, we are to Dallas, 49ers are to us. So, I mean, if we came into this thinking, wow, just good job. We're a year ahead. I don't know that we're going to move on past this week. Great experience for the young team. Now we're going in like, dude,
now we just dropped 48 points.
But we're not going to surprise San Francisco. Like they're ready for us now. They watch that. Like as maybe Dallas was taking us easy because they're a 7.5 point favorite. Everything else, that's not going to be the case going to San Francisco. So if we can go in there and put up a good fight and give them our best shot and have a chance to win the fourth quarter, I'll feel really good. And I think our offense is rolling. So Jaden Reed didn't have a catch. He hardly touched the ball.
Yeah.
He's been our best wide receiver. Christian Watson will have another week to get even more healthy. Hopefully Jair will be okay. I mean, it looked great.
So Greg said no one expected this outcome. James said, y'all made the whole country happy today except for Dallas fans. LOL, congrats. You've earned it. Now to exercise some demons in San Francisco. Absolutely. Brittany said, what an amazing game. Matthew Beach asked if Goodell was up in the suite with Jones. I don't know, because I was only looking at Jerry Jones and how dejected he looked. That was hilarious.
I was so happy that they showed the shot of Prescott on the bench sad, looking into the abyss. Oh, that was the best part.
I don't know how Mike McCarthy holds his job if Jerry Jones gets any inkling that Bill Belichick wants to come to Dallas.
I told you guys early in the third, I was like, dude, those Belichick to Dallas memes are going to go crazy. Bro.
Adam Schefter tweeted that the belief was that sources believed that Mike McCarthy's future hinged on how their last game of the season went. So obviously wherever it would have ended, it ended today. Craig said the Fox idiots are crying over Dallas.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can say that the Packers got lucky or favored or ref help. There's nothing you can say about it. The Packers
tried to get Dallas back into it.
Dominated
there
the
were
game.
A couple of really bad calls. It shouldn't even been 27-7 at halftime. Or at least they should have had to go 6 yards to get that touchdown.
I didn't even notice that almost false start.
There would have been a 10-second runoff, Brian, so it should have been 0 at half. If they would have called that full start,
would have been a 10-second runoff. So I don't think they would have ran it. But since the clock has stopped, they wouldn't have ran the 10 seconds off or whatever, but it should have been a harder play. You know what I mean? And then the horse collar right before that, they should have never been in there.
Yeah, that was bad.
Kenny Clark, that was a face mask. He can't hold him there or whatever.
That was Kenny Clark.
Even like Slayton, he got the 15-yard. That was early in the game. He got the 15-yarder, but what about the dude choking Devondre Campbell before that? So it was just like, it was kind of weird. How many times did, Jordan Love get hit? The one time Michael Parsons left his feet and hit him up high. But it was right after the throw, so I wasn't like losing my mind. But what I'm saying is like people will complain about the rest, but honestly, they were even at best.
Yeah. Yep. Cody commented something I said to you guys. The commentators tried their hardest to make Dallas seem like they were going to complete the comeback. It's like, and I get it, it's their job. Like it's their job to like make it seem, make it interesting, and try to, keep the intrigue going. Because you can't just sit there for the last 12 minutes of the game and be like, well, what is Green Bay and San Francisco going to look like next week while Green Bay and Dallas are still playing? Like I get that's kind of what we were all thinking, but you can't do that.
Did you guys catch Aaron talking to Jordan Love after the game? I liked one of his answers. She asked her, like, oh, how'd you do this against this defense or whatever, this really good defense? He's like, well, I think we got a pretty good offense too. So perfect response. So yeah, like,
you want to know? Jordan Love
cooking.
1.05 expected points added per drop back.
Wow.
Damn.
That is the sixth most since Next Gen Stats started.
Jesus.
Aaron Jones, man, what a monster.
James said the commentator's job is to try to keep people interested in the game no matter how hard it is, and that's absolutely true. Kind of just gotta keep doing your job until the game is over. Then you can talk about it and be like, wow, Green Bay really dominated this game.
I like Greg Olsen, but
I think that's going to affect part of the perception of the end of the game, because the Packers pulled their starters basically at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, little early, just a little early.
Right.
And even Jordan Love's still mad that he didn't get his turkey leg. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did you hear the comment? Greg Olsen tried to take credit for it.
Yep. Okay. Now, there's something that happened during the game, and I started thinking this, and I wasn't going to say it until the game was over. But I think it was the first drive of the second half for the Cowboys, that Dak Prescott is calling audibles, and he goes, Bermuda.
Yep.
And then a couple plays later, he's going, Italy. And I'm thinking, Dak Prescott's announcing where he's going for his travel plan.
Dude, I can't stand that. Yeah, here we go. Shut up, dude.
Yeah, Steve brought a good point. Pulling them with a 32-point lead is the right thing to do.
It's true. It's true. It's just unfortunate that they scored so quickly, because it's just we got to put them back in, which ain't great, because they're kind of, they're in the mindset, oh, this is done, let's go. And then you're putting people that are maybe not ready to jump back into the game back on the field, and then you worry about injuries. But luckily, I don't think anything came of that.
Yeah.
So, I will say TJ Slayton absolutely bodied that dude, though.
Yeah, holy crap.
I will say this too, looking just at the other perspective of good things that happened during the last couple drives. Lucas Van Ness was able to get a playoff sack. Preston was able to get a sack.
Dude,
and Van Ness, we got to see some of his athleticism. That last drive, Dak Prescott took off from the pocket. Lucas Van Ness chased him down from behind. I'm like, oh my god! Lucas is gonna catch him. What if he knocks the ball out of his hand? Like,
oh man,
I had no clue that he was there.
He didn't let him get out of bounds, tackling him from behind.
Exactly.
And then Preston Smith, you could tell the dude was gassed, and he still comes up with that big. He's probably like, all right, enough of this crap.
Yeah.
We're playing next week. Like, end this crap, get the sack.
He was doing blitzes just to keep contained, basically.
Yeah.
Steve brought it up. You guys said it's hard. You guys have said it before. 53-man roster.
We go to San Fran.
It's hard to fit everyone. Yeah, that's true.
Someone wrote on Twitter, I can't stop laughing. Imagine being down 27-0 and having to keep yelling, yeah, here we go.
Dude, the memes I was sending you, I was like dying. That's when I sent them you guys dancing at I was literally like crying on my couch.
What about the Burger King one?
Yeah.
I didn't see that one, but I see Twitter absolutely destroying Dallas right now. I don't typically watch First Take because some of the stuff that I won't get into that, but I will watch tomorrow because Stephen A. Smith is
he's gonna be so insufferable, dude.
I just pulled up Twitter just to see what's on there. This is funny.
This is what I'm doing.
Dude, that's me. I had 3 Cowboy fans because I have my office set up. I have my cheese head in there. I have the Green Bay Packers helmet, a flag hanging in my office.
Yep.
And I had 3 people that I didn't know were Dallas fans all year. They come into the office and say something to me. I said, all right. I said, well, you guys might get us this week, but this is what I told them last week. I said, you might get us, but we all know where it ultimately ends for you guys. You ain't going nowhere. And now it's just even more sweet. So I'm going to be pretty insufferable tomorrow too.
Greg said the guy flopped on after Slayton jacked him. Andrew said, let's go. What a win. Don said Stephen A is calling in sick tomorrow.
Oh no, he'll be there.
Did you guys
see Bayless calling in sick?
Oh,
not Stephen A.
Hilarious.
Have you guys seen the CJ Stroud Jordan Love stats?
I have not.
Both 16 of 21. Stroud had 274. Jordan Love had 272. They each threw 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and they had the same passer rating.
That's insane.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, that's nuts.
Yep. Andrew said Packers are responsible for McCarthy getting fired twice. Jake brought that up on our Friday night show.
He did.
If any of you here are watching right now and you don't watch our regular shows Friday night, we will do a full breakdown of this game, talk about all the aspects of it, and we'll preview the game against San Francisco. Cody said I haven't gone to Twitter to see Skip stuff. I just pulled up Twitter just now just to see what's going on.
Oh, he was cheering for the Packers. He wants everyone gone.
Go, Pack, go.
He wanted everyone gone.
One thing that I pulled up is Jair Alexander walking to the locker room under his own power. That's a good sign. I said it to you guys when he got hurt. I'm like, even if he's okay, just let him sit for the rest of the game. Just let him sit. Ballantyne did fine when he was put in. Matt Schneidman tweeted that Rich Bisaccia just yelled, "How about them Cowboys?" on his way into the locker room.
Get shit on.
Great troll job. Great troll job.
Did you see when the Packers went up 14-0? Skip Bayless said, "We just lost this game." So he must have just been falling apart, dude.
I feel bad for his wife sometimes because you see how he acts on TV when he's supposed to be a professional. Can you imagine him without a camera, dude? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oof. Somebody asked how many people owe this guy an apology, and it's a picture of Brian Gutekunst. So, Goody apology for him?
Look,
and Matt LaFleur.
Let's be honest.
Matt LaFleur.
The people
Matt LaFleur, I'm just saying.
The people that owe them apologies are so staunchly pessimistic that they're going to use the last 6 minutes to complain or say that they don't deserve an apology because Barry's still there, or they'll wait to see what happens next week, and if we don't take care of business next week, that's when they'll start chirping again. We want to change. I literally have people that my buddy or whatever that said that. My buddy that said, "Oh, I'm not sold on or Love yet," or whatever. He tweeted or he texted me today. He said, "Well, we'll see next week is a real challenge with a better defense." I'm like, "What?"
The top 5 defense. They won 16 straight games in their house.
Exactly.
I don't know what to tell you. Points. My theory is that he traded him. I traded him Daniel Jones, and he traded me Love in Dynasty football. So he just wants Love not to play well. You know who I'm talking about, Simon.
Yeah. It's the same thing, and there are people who actually believe things like that, and it's the thing where it's the same thing as the Bears game, where the Bears came in doing well against the run. They were the number 1 rush defense, and it's like, oh well, it's still the Bears, even though the Packers put up a lot of rushing yards on them, or that the Bears offense was trending well in the last 3-4 weeks before, outside of the Browns game, before they came to play the Packers, and then the Packers held them to under 10 points.
And the Vikings were 4th in DVOA.
And they had 411 passing yards against the Lions the week before.
Hold on. You just brought up something that I was thinking about. 3 consecutive weeks, dude. We made Vikings fans sad. We made Bears fans sad. And now we make Cowboys fans sad. If we make 49ers fans sad and end their season, oh, dude. You want to talk about a successful season, dude. Oh,
dude, it's already over.
Best thing next to a Super Bowl.
We're already over successful. Think about this. We're going to be a top 4 team in the NFC, and we have 5 picks in the top 100 next year.
We found a quarterback.
Oh, and I'm talking people are already talking people sleeping on Jordan Love. Probably even if there was any left, their eyes are open today. That throw to Wicks and the throw to Dobbs in the end zone are disgusting.
I can't wait to rewatch the game and look for plays to break down because this is going to be crazy.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when you rewatch the game, I want you to watch Elton Jenkins on the touchdown to Musgrave. He's literally just standing there like a computer player with his hands straight down. It's the funniest shit of all time. He's just standing there like, yeah, that's probably a touchdown, dude.
You see Micah Parsons? He turns around and starts walking to the sidelines before Musgrave even scores.
No, dude, I didn't see that. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good.
Man. You see him because that's when Micah's in his face. He throws it up, and then you see Micah watching. He sees Musgrave catching. You just see Micah turn around and start walking.
I could see him requesting a trade.
Micah Parsons?
I could see it.
I don't know.
Dude. He seems like a guy that wants team success. He understands how good he is, but he seems like a guy that wants to win, man.
Well, look at how dejected CD Lamb was too for a while.
I felt bad for him a little bit. I'm
late in the game or whatever, but.
Oh my!
Oh boy, Skip Bayless. Yep, he said, "I'm done with these gutless, heartless playoff fraud."
Oh boy!
He's literally throwing Cowboys stuff into the garbage.
He does that every year.
Dude, he does it every year and has to replace
every year. Just like New Year's Eve and Christmas, it happens every year.
Dude, this is like my third Christmas every year. Is like when they, when the Dallas gets kicked out of the playoffs. It's so great. I seen one. I've seen one. It was pretty bad, but someone tweeted like Jerry Jones at the podium. It's time I come clear and talk about that fat gutless bastard. You know what I'm talking about? You remember Skip or Stephen A. Smith went off on like Jason Whitlock this week or whatever. So they took his quote. I was like, oh my gosh.
January 24th, 2024, a day that will live in infamy in Cowboys history. Congrats, Jerry. Worst day ever. The youngest team in the NFL today was the better in every way. So much for ranks, so much for stats, so much for all pros, so much for point spread, all caps. The Cowboys were gutless, heartless, leaderless frauds with a QB and head coach who couldn't be trusted when it mattered. Next tweet, can't wait for Micah Parsons' podcast tomorrow. That's what he does best.
Oh! They had 9 all pros.
They had 9 all pros.
And we had 0 Pro Bowlers, and we just smashed them. That tells you that like that crap means nothing. The fact that Jordan Love didn't make a Pro Bowl or anything, yeah, I get it because it's voting early. But if there wasn't voting already, like if the voting would have been completed already, he would have to be top 3 in MVP voting. I don't care what anyone says.
100%.
Maybe 4. I'll probably give it 4 because you got Brock Purdy, Dak, who's had a good season, Lamar Jackson. But like the way he's played this. Now that's 21 touchdowns and 1 interception in the last 9 games or whatever.
Somebody tweeted the Jordan Love-led Packers have as many playoff wins as the Chicago Bears do since the Bush administration. I don't want to see another one of those losers in my mentions again.
Oh, my God.
Fucking dumpster.
Hey, the stock on this bad boy is climbing, too.
I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to say this before next Friday. The swag and the confidence that this Packers team is playing with makes them a very dangerous team to a team like San Francisco, who has been sitting there for a couple weeks. Knowing,
and let's be honest, all the pressure's on Kyle Shanahan and stuff at this point.
It's got to be.
How many times have they been good and not get the job done?
It's just like the Cowboys. It's the same mindset as the Cowboys.
Yep,
having
exactly.
all this talent, getting this close. I mean, he's at least made it to a Super Bowl. But having all this talent, being called the best team year after year, and having nothing to show for it really, except for a couple NFC Championship game appearances and 1 Super Bowl. Like all the pressure's on them. They're at home. The Packers are playing with house money again, dude. And if they go in there, listen, man, if they even make it close, I'm gonna be ecstatic. If we're hanging with big boys in their house in divisional playoff rounds with a 25-year-old quarterback and a bunch of kids that just came out of college, watch out, dude.
I did not hear this on the broadcast, but Zach Heilprin just tweeted it. Jordan Love, right before he took the handoff on the kneel down, said, "Here we go," said Hut.
What a fucking clown, dude.
Jordan's starting to come into he's starting to be a little more
his confidence
and open with people too. Like, yeah, I love it.
Steve said, "I don't care. Matt LaFleur is the coach of the year." Honestly, give it to whoever between the Texans and the Packers. Give it to whoever team goes further.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
I agree.
And we talked about it because we're live during all rounds of the draft. Well, not all rounds of the draft. Sorry, the first 2 days of the draft, we were live and we all talked about it. We loved the Texans draft. The Texans had a fantastic draft.
Last 2 seasons, they had really, really good drafts.
Thanks, Cleveland.
Yeah, right.
The Lions, really, if we're being honest, the Lions had 2 good drafts in a row too.
They did.
And look at all these. Those are all young teams who are going to dominate the NFL for the next 10 years.
Yeah, the Lions are going to have to figure out something at quarterback.
They are
probably in the near future, but
I don't see a way they don't bring in Goff for an extension.
Wow, Packers are 10 points underdog. Did they announce the schedule yet? Probably not, huh?
They won't know who's going to play when until all of the games
after Monday. Yeah,
I don't necessarily disagree with that. They gave the Cowboys 7.5.
Yep.
So I mean, to give San Francisco, who I think is a couple classes above Dallas, especially when you talk about playoffs, right? A couple classes above them, to give them another couple points, I'm not mad at it.
I think I agree with Christopher. I think the Packers are probably going to be the Sunday night game, because the alternate is going to be whoever wins between the Rams and Lions facing whoever wins between the Eagles and the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I don't see a way the Eagles come out of that game. They limped in the playoffs, dude.
And you know what? I put
Way,
this in my notes last week that all the Joe Barry people, the fired Joe Barry people, wanted us to make a change because Philly did. Philly lost 5 out of 6.
Look how bad their defense has been ranked last in almost every category.
Yeah. So
good call, Chris.
Probably not.
Like Chris said, it's on the West Coast, so it would be hard for it to be an early game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the night game, just given the fact that it's going to be a better game than whoever wins out of the next 4 teams.
I'm all for that, man.
You know, I saw a lot of this week. The Packers are the 7 seed, and there's never been a 7 seed that won. And I want to say that if you look at like the past 7 seeds, those are teams that kind of limped in the playoffs a little bit. And the Packers they went in there on a high. So I think that's like a major difference.
Yeah.
So
look at this offense last 4 games. So 33 against Carolina. I can't remember what we scored against 34 or something against the Vikings. We only scored 17 or whatever against the Bears, but it probably should have been in the 30s. We just kept shooting ourselves in the foot.
And we never punted.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened though. We all those points that we left on the board versus the Bears, we just carried them over to this week. So.
Yeah, Jordan Love, 157.2 rating, and it was perfect until that last third down.
That's still filthy. That's still filthy. We can be upset that it's 150. It's not 158.3, right? Like that kind of sucks. But like at the end of the day,
NFL history is the only crappy part. But
if you would have told me he has a 157 passer rating, I would have been like, yeah, we're stopping these boys.
How many people in October complained about Jordan Love's completion percentage just for him to go 16 for 21, 76% for 272, 3 touchdowns and no picks against the Cowboys, the number 2 seed?
Bro, we were playing with him so much, he was counting Aaron Jones' touchdowns with Aaron Jones, bro. That's hilarious. Now, I'm going to bring them up for you guys, and I want to see what you guys think about this. Do you guys remember when we were going into the preseason and we knew we were going to have the youngest team in the league and the youngest wide receivers, right? Yep. And they kept comparing us to the Browns that previously did it. And that's when everybody, the winless Browns, the first winless team, or the second winless team, I'm sorry. The Lions did it first, LOL. But then they kept comparing us to the Browns and saying like, oh, yeah, this is a 2-win team. This is a 3-win team.
5.
We're going to San Francisco, bro, to play in the divisional playoffs, man. Like that is.
We're gonna play as many playoff games.
Just knock the number 2 seed out of the playoffs.
Yeah,
dude. When they were losing on Monday Night Football to the Raiders, nobody thought we were doing anything. When we lost that next week to the Broncos, nobody thought we were doing anything. But you know what? We stayed the course on this show, man. Yep. We said it's all about learning, it's all about growing, it's all about getting better, improving, and we stayed the course, man. And we were looking at all the improvements of these guys every single week. Every week, it was like one guy improved on one thing. And now, I brought it up this last week. People kind of forget about Romeo Doubs. You couldn't forget about Romeo Doubs today, although the Cowboys tried their very best to do it for basically the entire game.
He owned the middle of the field, dude.
Oh,
dude,
man,
he was destroying.
Since the first drive.
This is why I said, I was telling people all week at work, if Dave's still in here, my coworker, I said, if 9 plays, it's over. It is over. You now have to move everybody back 10 yards because he's taking the top off, and we have so many dudes that can control the middle of the field and the outsides. Wicks, Dobbs, Reed, Musgrave, Kraft. We have so many dudes, man. Bo Melton. Shit. We have to mention everybody at this point, man. We're going to throw the ball to every single person that puts a damn jersey on, it feels like. So, man, this team, it's fun. I did not expect this.
Jordan Love had 21 pass attempts to 8 different players.
Yep. Yeah, that's so stupid. That's so stupid.
Dobbs was targeted 6 times.
Andrew Glazer made a really good point. I really like that, what he said there.
Oh, Andrew, I'll come back to it. Let me just finish on Dobbs really quick. Dobbs was targeted 6 times. He had 6 catches for 151 yards and a touchdown.
Did you know he never had a 100-point-yard game before that? I wouldn't have guessed it, but I guess it's only the second season, but that was just 100-yard game.
Before that was like 97, I think.
Yeah, I think he had a 90-some game.
But this is the thing. Up until the Vikings game, the Packers hadn't had a 100-yard wide receiver in a game. And the first one they got was Bo Melton, on a Sean Clifford Hail Mary at the end of a game.
We have Jaden Reed.
Then last week it was Jaden Reed, and now this week it's Romeo Doubs. So the Packers now have 3 straight weeks of a 100-yard wide receiver after not having any through the first 15 games.
Man.
So Andrew said, as much as I was an Aaron Rodgers fan, I don't think these young wide receivers would have been as confident playing with him, as much freedom under him. He was always yelling at young players. Love was humble and had something to prove. Perfect QB for this team. And I think part of it is, and this isn't even just about Aaron Rodgers, but I think just coming into play with a veteran at that point, that you would feel some pressure to perform because he's a veteran. So coming in with a young guy and just being one of the guys, one of the young players, that there is, a less expectation, and it is more, we are all growing to grow together, which is something I'm really enjoying about the offense. Yeah. Jerry Jones has refused to comment on McCarthy's status. I'm sure until tomorrow.
As much as I appreciate McCarthy and bring it, he has a street named after him. He's done in Dallas. Like, it's just been too much of the same stuff. It's kind of like what Philly did with, Andy Reid, and they probably regret it now, but it's kind of, I'm not saying that
with Doug Peterson too,
Andy Reid, but it's kind of getting to that point where it's like, can't seem to get over the hump.
Douglas said good fundamentals win, offense and defense. I think Jordan Love actually made a comment about that, about playing complementary football. Christopher said this is it. Love has made a point to hang out with his guys. Rodgers never did. And it goes back, what did we talk about before training camp even began? That Watson, Dobbs, and Jones were in California with Jordan Love before training camp even began.
I think there was talks about him doing that again this year too.
I'm sure they will, because
I saw it somewhere.
Oh, got Bryant's burner in the comments over here.
The Lions scored, by the way, and yeah.
Okay. So, what do you guys think about? I know we all think that Packers are probably gonna be the Sunday night game, but the Sunday, the last, is that on NBC? Is that going to be like the Peacock game or whatever on Sunday, or is that Saturday night?
Peacock
game? That was a one-time thing, right? The Peacock game?
The game right now is on Peacock.
It's on NBC, though, too. It's on both.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're not required.
Not exclusively on Peacock.
Oh, yeah. But that was like a one-time
is it an
wild
NBC
card
game? Is the Sunday night game next week, is that an NBC game, or is that like a game of the week Fox game? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
What? I couldn't tell you. Because I can tell you,
Saturday night is the Sunday night game, the NBC game. I can see us getting the Saturday night game.
That's true.
I'd be okay with that too.
I'd like
just because they're probably going to want to pump up, the 49ers are the number 1 seed, because they're going to want the Ravens on national television as well.
True.
And they're probably going to want to pump up Jordan Love in the offense.
They're going to need to push the AFC back, because both of the AFC games
I was just going to say the Monday night games might force them more into this Sunday roles.
Playing them on Sunday.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So the Packers on 19 pass rushes. Micah Parsons had 19 pass rushes. He produced 1 pressure. That's the lowest pressure rate in a game in his career, 5.3%. Parsons had his only pressure come on an unblocked pass rush. Zach Tom held him to 0 pressures in 9 matchups.
I thought DeMarcus Lawrence had a really good first quarter, and then I don't remember seeing him much the rest of the game.
Yeah.
How about that step up by Aaron Jones to smack?
That was great.
Right absolutely. Was that on the Wicks touchdown? It was on a big play. I know that. Maybe Dobbs.
I think it was either Dobbs. I think it was a Dobbs catch.
Yeah,
I think it was a Dobbs catch too.
But Jones absolutely smacks Parsons, and you see Parsons like kind of breathing like he got hit right in the ribs. Like, that's awesome. But yeah, looking forward to next week. I think we have a. I said we had a puncher's chance coming in. I think we have a puncher's chance going into that game too.
It was the last drive of the first half. It was the big play to Romeo Dobbs, like in the middle of that drive. 2 sets of downs later was the touchdown to Dobbs. So it was on one of Dobbs' huge gains. Okay, yeah. I got another next gen stat for you guys.
Okay, last one.
Romeo Dobbs caught all 6 of his targets for 151 yards and a touchdown, generating a career high plus 60 receiving yards over expected. Dobbs had his most production come between the numbers, catching all 5 targets for 112 yards and a touchdown.
Wow.
Beast.
He owned the middle of the field.
Attacking the middle of the field is a great thing.
Oh, my. Aaron Jones gained 107 yards and 2 touchdowns on 18 carries from under center. Jones has gained 322 yards and averaged 5.9 yards per carry on carries from under center since returning in Week 15, picking up a league-high 24 first downs.
Oh, we've seen a lot of this, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of it.
All right, guys. Well, good win. We'll talk more about it on Friday.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, if you are watching or have watched any part of this, Friday night we will have a full, complete breakdown of all the aspects of the game. We'll get a few more digs in at Dallas, and hopefully the Rams can come back and beat the Lions. So we're going to go watch that. And then if that happens, we'll have a little bit more bragging rights. And I'm sure we'll have some play breakdowns come out through the week about this game as well. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, thanks for hopping in with us for a little while. And I will see you guys all on Friday night then.
Go Pack, go, and go Bucks, baby.
Here we go.
Here we go.